Long before its release, The Idol had made a name for itself, and it wasn't necessarily a good one. The Rolling Stone came out with an article calling The Idol twisted torture porn. While 13 sources blew the lid off the controversial show, with one source quoting, "Let's just say it's a shit show."
There's a lot for Jocelyn.
Not on Rolling Stone.
As most of us know, the first sign of trouble came last April when the original director, Amy Seimetz, suddenly left the show, even though nearly 80% was finished, and was replaced with Sam Levinson of Euphoria. Levinson is no stranger to controversy, with reports of set conflicts and people calling him out for his penchant for unnecessarily gratuitous nude and sexual scenes. And rumors of the weekend stating that Amy's departure was due to the show heading too much into a female perspective was a big red flag, seeing as the show's protagonist is a woman. Now, I wanted to watch the show with an open mind and judge it purely on its merits. I wanted to see if the first episode held some promise, at least. So these are some of my thoughts on the first episode of The Idol. Right off the bat, it feels like a cliche. A story about a vulnerable, young, beautiful celebrity and how hard her life is. I'm not discrediting Jocelyn's struggles. We do hear snippets that she had been recently hospitalized for a breakdown after her mother died of an illness, which, by the way, sounds a lot like Rue's backstory on Euphoria. And I thought the comparison between Jocelyn and Britney was crude, to say the least. It also starts with her management team freaking out over a very explicit photo of Jocelyn being leaked, and shows a glimpse into just how much they control her life, as can be seen when they hide her phone, preventing her from finding out on her own, as well as when they lock up the one guy looking out for her best interest about the nudity in her photo shoot, showing they care more about the money than Jocelyn's well-being. So far, introduction-wise, we see a story that we have seen many times of the poor celebrity whose life is not in her own hands. This is just the first episode, so, there is some hope that there will be more original plot points along the way, but as of now, I didn't see any. I feel like the male gaze overpowers what the show's message is trying to tell. In case you're not familiar with the term, the male gaze is the act of depicting women and the world from a masculine heterosexual perspective that presents and represents women as sexual objects for the pleasure of the heterosexual male viewer. I understand that the show is trying to portray how hypersexualized female entertainers are in the industry and how toxic and manipulative it is in general, but it doesn't make sense to me thematically that Jocelyn is hypersexualized in scenes where she's by herself or not in front of cameras, basically when it's not serving the industry that is apparently to blame. For instance, how she sleeps naked save for a thong, the clothes she wears to practice her dance routine in her own home, that firstly looks like the most uncomfortable dance clothes to wear and doesn't do a good job at covering anything. The scene of Jocelyn in her home after meeting Tedros for the first time was so gratuitous and unnecessary, and I think the dialogue that exemplifies the male gaze the most is when Jocelyn's best friend / assistant tells her that she doesn't like Tedros because, quote, "he's so rapey," to which Jocelyn replies, "I kinda like that about him." As a matter of fact, just how Jocelyn and Tedros meets feels so rushed and forced. I think it could be boiled down to lazy writing. It just makes the story feel weak. The most disappointing thing is that the show doesn't realize its own hypocrisy. They want us to view Jocelyn as a poor victim of the music industry, used more like an object than a person, which is exactly what the show does to her for us. She has virtually no time to process the explicit picture that has been going viral. Are we made to believe that she wouldn't be affected? Even if she were lying to her management and to herself about how it feels, I feel like a female gaze perspective would have given us an intimate look at how she's truly feeling, thus making us more connected to her as a character and making her a lot more interesting and appealing to us. Instead, she takes one puff of her cigarette and goes partying. I don't see a lost, vulnerable girl who's being pushed either which way by people around her. I see a girl who takes pleasure in pain. However, this does make me think, maybe she leaked the photo herself. Maybe she did this to cancel herself, get away from her current life. This could be a plot point for the show, which could make it a little bit more interesting. But even so, even if this was the case, in the first episode, Jocelyn is just painted very shallow. In the entire 54 minutes of the episode, we have barely begun to scratch her character. It's not even done in a mysterious, I want to get to know her more way. Her character is just written too dull. Whereas Tedros, who is only introduced towards the end, I feel like we have a more intimate look into his character, with a single shot of him practicing his greeting to Jocelyn in the mirror. This short scene itself gave more insight to Tedros than to the protagonist who we have been watching for almost an entire hour. I don't know about you, but I think this show could have done more with a female perspective. With that said, this is just the first episode. Who knows what direction the story goes in? I just hope it's not going to flesh out in the most predictable way, and I hope there's more to Jocelyn's character. Otherwise, even with the beautiful visuals and soundscapes, it's just not going to be an exciting show to watch. What did you guys think of the first episode? Let me know down in the comments, and please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, as I will review all episodes of The Idol. I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.